Hey, this is Billy Childs from Brittany Fox, and you're listening to the Cosmick Voice.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
This is the Cosmick Voice. Cosmick Voice. Music, talk, and nothing but business with your hosts, Chris Natalini and Mick Michaels. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmick Voice. This is Season 8, Episode 5. I am here with my co-host, Chris Natalini.
What is happening, everybody?
And I am Mick Michaels. Welcome back, everyone, to another show. Chris, how are you, my good man?
What's happening, Mick? I am doing fantastic.
It's fantastic to hear that you are fantastic.
Yeah, Daddy. Doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Welcome back to another show.
Yeah, man. Here we are. Episode 5.
Already. Season 8. Rolling into it.
Loving it.
Loving it. Loving it. Keeping us busy. Keeping us out of trouble. Keeping us out of prison.
Just not getting caught. How about that?
Well, that's true. Actually, these days, I probably would get caught because I can't run anymore. I got two shot knees.
That's a fact. Yeah,
I would just kind of like sit on the park bench. Yeah, I did it. Just come on.
Yeah, now, there's DNA stuff, and, my luck, I'd be hair everywhere. Like, I'd be caught in no time. There's just no...
I couldn't do the chase. Do you got a vehicle? Yeah, all right, come on, just come get me.
Just lay down.
Just
Hands behind your back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not fighting, guys, so there's no need to take out the boots. Don't hit me with the spray. It's the other thing, the zapper
taser
thing. Yeah, the taser. It's all right, guys. I'm here.
No pepper spray needed.
Yeah, you guys got soft pretzels in prison?
That's
not much fight left in this one here.
No.
So
Nope. I hear you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
So what's been going on, man? Anything going on with you?
No, brother. Honestly, nothing. I usually start the show with some kind of news, and here we are at the time of recording this. We lost another legend, man. Another legend, at least here where we are in the Delaware Valley. We literally lost the last, and I'm going to say it, the last real rock DJ ever, and it's Pierre Robert. Our station here at WMMR in Philadelphia.
He may have been, quote-unquote, a local DJ, but...
Outpouring was amazing.
It was global.
Dude, I don't listen to terrestrial radio, right? Like, I just don't. Especially MMR, because they claim they were the rock station. I barely heard any kind of rock. Although you and I have talked about this, I think, in the first season. What's rock and roll now? Completely, it's not the rock and roll we know, but maybe to these radio stations, that's the rock and roll that they play. Whatever. Doesn't matter. When I heard he died, of course, in Delaware Valley, it's going to be a lot. But when I saw the outpouring on Facebook of all these news outlets and even Rolling Stone, they did a piece on him. Like, that's crazy to me. This local guy from Philadelphia who, has been with the station, I don't know, 30-something, 40-something years. And I couldn't wrap my head around that this man, a local DJ here in Philadelphia, literally was a global hero. And I was amazed at it. And if he was aware of it, that's amazing. But if he wasn't, I hope he sees it all, because when I did listen to terrestrial radio, when we had no choice, I did listen to Pierre, and he would have loved that he was in Rolling Stone. He was kind of a hippie kind of guy, and he would have loved that he was a Rolling Stone. But man, like I was shocked that, you know, the news outlets that covered it from all over the country and world, being from Philadelphia, was pretty cool, man, that, you know, that this guy got a lot of recognition. And then the outpouring from musicians to Bon Jovi and Living Colour and Tool and Wolfgang Van Halen, like they all came out and had really nice things to say about him. And I was just like, man, amazing to me. But he was the last real rock DJ. I mean, you know, I obviously I don't know other markets and their radio stations, but I'm pretty sure, because Pierre was with us for so long here in the Philly market, that I believe he was one of the last real rock DJs. I mean, you know, he's up there. He's just up there with all those, you know, other guys that, you know, made radio something to listen to. And, you know, that's fallen by the wayside.
I think he came into the Philly market, I may be wrong on this, but in 81, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so too.
So he came in before the explosion of music in this country, modern popular music, and the explosion or re-explosion of rock, hard rock, heavy metal, MTV, all of that. So he was at that cusp. He was at that entrance. So when bands started to come through, Philly became a major market in terms of stops for tours.
I would know.
I would know. And MMR was always there, right? Because even then they fashioned themselves as the go-to, hey, we're into the rock scene. I mean, he literally befriended hundreds and hundreds of some of the most popular artists ever. On both sides of the pond. Anybody who was anybody. I mean, he was there for Live Aid.
Yeah.
And he hobnobbed with so many people. So as shocking as it was to have that outpour, it's not surprising. I didn't know him personally. I mean, I did listen to him. I'll be honest with you, over the years, kind of like a roller coaster. Sometimes I was into it, sometimes I wasn't. Sometimes it was just background noise. When it was on, you know, you would listen to some of what sometimes it was long-winded, whatever. But apparently he was a super nice guy, and he got along with everybody. And like you said, he did have that hippie element to him, which may have been part of the reason when I was younger, I didn't fall into that whole hippie movement thing, and just didn't sit with me. But he made an impact. He made an impact in this area for radio and in the larger national market. It's amazing. What's funny is you would expect it from like Casey Kasem or Dick Clark or Rick Dees or Wolfman Jack. These were nationally known DJs.
Yeah.
And then when you come to find out that a DJ that you've been listening to, basically your whole radio life as a listener, had such an impact, pretty amazing. Again, goes back to the reason that I did that book is because Philly had such an impact that it's often overlooked.
Yeah.
This tells you right now, in such a sense.
You're right. You're right. That's a great way to look at it, yeah.
Just saying, the personality is what I think transcends. Yes, he was a radio personality. He had an outlet. He had a forum which artists gravitated towards because they needed it. But at the same time, it was that personality. This goes back to my other argument is that a music scene has everything to do with the artists, not the venues.
That's right.
Right? Not even the genre, per se. It has to do with the artists. And to me, what made radio and all those names that I mentioned before was not that radio station, but it was the personalities that were put on that radio station, or the combinations. I mean, case in point, I'm not a Howard Stern fan anymore or listener, but I was for years. And he moved around from station to station, so on and so forth, and his fans followed because it was that personality. It wasn't the radio station. And Pierre Robert found a home that supported him, that worked well with him, and a town or a city or a region that embraced him as a friend, as a family member, as somebody that they could trust and rely on. And I think that was the type of individual he was. And that's why you're getting this global outpouring. It's just amazing. It's just amazing stuff.
It is. It was really cool to see. I mean, it's sad that he's gone, of course. Again, I didn't listen to him, but he was a staple here in Philly. And, you know, there's been some ruckus on that station lately, you know, with letting go of some disc jockeys, and, you know, radio is changing. You know, I do feel bad for those people because as you did, we grew up on radio. You know, I mean, that's what we listened to. I mean, that was the thing. So yeah, it was sad, man. I was pretty rocked by the news. Like, I mean, I wasn't like, you know, super upset, but I was really bummed because I do have, as we sit here, I do have an autographed picture of him right here that says "To Chris."
Nice.
That sits on my desk here in my studio. It's an older picture. It's him and Lucy, his old golden lab. I met him a few times through the years. I mean, no crazy interaction, but I never forget one time Slayer was at the Tower Theater and he was hammered. And he comes wobbling through the crowd and he sees me, and it was me and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. He sees me and he gets so excited because we look exactly alike. Like, we both had the gray beard, you know, the long hair. And I have a picture of me and him in my wife's phone somewhere. We were talking about the other day. You know, I mean, it was a quick interaction. Hi, how you doing? Like, he didn't recognize me. He just realized that we looked a lot alike. He was always super cool. Anytime I saw him, I loved to see him at shows because he was always talking to people and people loved him. And it's just very sad. It's very, very sad. But he was a legend here in Philadelphia. And, you know, we just did a show about your book. Like you had said, Philly radio was a huge thing for music. And, you know, Daryl Hall, John Oates, Bon Jovi, and Hooters, and, you know, all those guys from the area. So, yeah, Pierre Robert. It's a shame.
I was surprised to find out that he was 70. Because he didn't look it.
Me too, man.
I mean, he was in good
he looked
shape.
amazing.
Yeah, he looked amazing. The people that we listen to or hear or watch, we kind of don't put it into that time frame because we see them a certain way. But he really did not look that age. I mean, he was well.
I guess, you know, with being a vegan.
Yeah, I guess it has some truth to it. It's too late for me, baby. But anyway.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's Ross the Boss.
Take it down.
Johnny D from Britney Fox.
This is Stephen Pearcy from Rat, the Rat Bastard. You're listening to the Cosmick Voice.
All right, with that, let's get into the topic of the show. And the topic of this show is rock in a revival? Is rock in a revival? And here's the bigger question. Does anyone really care? What do you think, buddy? Is rock in a revival? And do you care?
I don't know, man. You know, so Secret, you and I chit-chat before, you know, when we decide on what topic to do. You know, we had set this show up, you know, a couple days ago, and I've been thinking about it. First of all, I will say this, and I don't know what your opinion is because we don't talk beforehand about things, what we're going to say. I will say, in my opinion, if rock is coming back, nobody cares. And I say that because I just don't think that, and this is my opinion, I don't feel like there's enough people that listen. I think with the surge of social media and the reels and the trending videos between your hip hop, your pop rock, your country, the big genres of music that are happening now, I don't think rock is as popular as it used to be. I think more now that it's been taken over by, I mean, you have your alternative rock, but I don't know how much of that stuff that radio stations are playing is really brand new. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I don't know if anybody cares. I mean, I'm sure there's a, you know, of course there's going to be a handful of people that do care, but I think for the most part, on a global scale, when you look at it, I think your Latin music has become a huge thing, very popular. And then you have, you know, your Taylor Swifts, your Sabrina Carpenters, you know, Demi Lovato just put out a brand new record and she's killing it. Then you have your country, at least, you know, country music is big on our corner of the world, in our area. Country is a huge thing. I don't think there is a rock revival. I think there's still rock bands or alternative rock. Again, just like you and I had said, and I think back in season 1, what's your definition of rock? I guess whatever your definition of rock is could either prove me wrong or prove me right. But in my head, in my world, in my brain canon, rock is just not something that's popular anymore. So I don't know if there's a revival. I don't believe there is. I mean, I don't see, it's not a secret. I do have a Spotify subscription. I take a look on Friday when the new stuff comes out, and I don't see a lot of rock bands. I see a lot of, well, AI stuff. I mean, I see a lot of that. You know, I see a lot of hip hop. I see a lot of pop. but I don't really see a lot of rock, whatever rock is. I don't really see a lot of it. Even some of the metal stuff that's been coming out lately is questionable, what we consider to be heavy metal. So in my opinion, Mick, to answer the question, it was a long-winded answer, I understand. I don't think, in my opinion, there is no revival for rock. I don't, and that's sad. And I don't know if people really care. I've said it before, I don't necessarily think that music is a big part of people's lives as much as it is or was in ours. I don't think that music is important. To me, music is everything. I've said it before. Whatever I'm doing, I have music on. If I'm shaving, if I'm in the shower, if I'm getting dressed, if I'm in the car, take out the podcast I listen to, I have music on all the time. I just need it in my life, especially now because I've been kind of sidelined from it. So now I need it even more, but it's always been like that. My whole life, I've always listened to music no matter what I was doing. If I'm decorating for a holiday, or if I'm driving to the local Wawa 5 minutes up the road, I have music on. I mean, I just do. If I'm at work, I have, when I'm loading because I'm a truck driver, so when I'm loading my truck, I have my phone on in my truck. Like, I just always have music on. So for me, it's hard for me to believe that people don't have that love for music anymore as much as we did and do. I don't think music is an important part of people's lives anymore. So no, I don't necessarily think there is a rock revival, and I don't think that even if it did, people would care. I just don't see it. Everybody is going back. We talked about the last episode with tribute bands. Everybody is trying to relive those old experiences, hear that old music to take them back to a better time. I don't know if today's music is going to be able to do that. I just don't, because I don't think that there's a lot of feeling in today's music. I believe it's all just fluff, just trying to get to the next trend.
That's a good point. Here's what the internet says, just to give us a jumping off point or, little argument's sake. So current 2025 rock artists, and they include established acts with new releases, okay? So here's a list of what they're considering rock. Established artists with new releases: Bruce Dickinson, Judas Priest, Pearl Jam, Green Day, Sum 41, The Black Crowes, Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, The Darkness, Dream Theater, Ghost. That's just a quick thing. But here's what they consider up-and-coming featured rock artists.
Okay.
Freako, New Dad, The Velveteers, Alkaline Trio, Laura Jane Grace, Scott Stapp, High on Fire, Liam Gallagher, and John Squire, Frank Turner. I have no idea who any of those are. None.
No,
None.
Me neither.
So that's just Google's list. There's several different lists that are out there, and I'm going to pull up the 25 most popular rock bands in 2025 according to Spotify. And again, this just gives people some ground to consider. Oasis, Foo Fighters, The Killers, The Script, Måneskin, Fall Out Boy, Toto, Metallica, Radiohead, Train, The Rolling Stones, Bon Jovi, Green Day, Guns N' Roses, Billy Joel, Nirvana, Fleetwood Mac, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Beatles, coming in at number 6, AC/DC, Elton John, Queen, number 2 is Linkin Park, and number 1 is Arctic Monkeys, with 53 million listeners.
See,
So I'm not even sure who the Arctic Monkeys are. I mean, maybe I've heard something, I'm not sure, but you're talking about, you got Queen, okay, with Freddie Mercury, all right, Elton John, AC/DC, The Beatles, Creedence Clearwater Revival. They have more listeners than Metallica. So where are the new people? What prompted this to add into the list is and I guess it's already run its course, especially by the time this episode airs, is that surge of young blood following Ozzy's final performance.
Yeah.
And it was all over the place. Now, was it last year or the year before he had released that cover of I Was Made for Loving You? Mm-hmm. And that's great. It's for some movie. I can't remember. A Fall Guy.
Yeah.
The Fall Guy, right? 2 years ago or whatever it was, he had one look And now the look is something completely different. And it's someplace else. And I'm not super familiar with his music, but I watched a couple interviews with him. He seems like he has his purpose. He has focus. He seems like a really cool guy. To make yourself relevant, to create awareness, regardless of what side you're on, new, upcoming, established, you need to link yourself with someone who has the audience attention. He got this nod from Ozzy, and then he worked with Aerosmith, and all of a sudden, everybody wanted a piece of him. And I think he's got another new album coming out soon or something like that. He's working on stuff, and he has this vision. Is that vision what rock is today or what rock will be tomorrow? I don't know. But according to those lists that I just read off, and again, I just put in a quick search thing, see what came up. So it's out there, and there were hundreds of lists you could go through that everybody was putting out. All these different online rags, or some were fan favorites and all. But when you have a list, let's say a list of 10, make it easy for my counting, and 7 of them are bands that have been out 20 years or more.
Yeah.
What is that saying? Now, that's at the top level. Real quick, where does that leave us at the bottom rungs? Which goes back to, like you said, our previous conversation in an episode about tribute acts, cover acts.
Yeah.
If that's what people are gravitating towards, what they already know, because, again, half of those albums from established artists that, I brought up, that they were put in the list simply because they had released brand new music in 2025. I mean, besides Judas Priest's album, I don't really know any of the other albums. I don't recall hearing anything from... I knew about the Dream Theater album, of course, but I haven't taken the time to listen to it.
Right.
I like some of what The Darkness does, but I'm not a big follower. I don't hear any buzz about it.
Yeah. You brought up Youngblood. I didn't even think about that. Here's a question for you, Mick. So, we're talking about Youngblood, and we're talking about, him getting the nod from Ozzy. So, he rode that high for a little bit, which, as he should, because he was amazing. Did the Billy Corgan interview and, got him some eyes on that. Then he decides to do the thing with Aerosmith. Now, for him, being a singer, being a young guy, being a musician, I am sure doing a thing with Aerosmith was amazing for him, right? Like, I'm sure he was riding high. Sure. It would be for me.
Sure.
But does anybody really care who listened to Youngblood? I have some friends that have kids, young kids, teenagers, that do listen to Youngblood. I don't know if they care that he did a song with Aerosmith.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, for them, they're like, that's cool. Walk this way.
If they're not connected to Aerosmith in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't make a difference because they're so removed, right? And for people in our age bracket, we don't care one way or the other either. Like whether, because a lot of people are like, well, who cares what Aerosmith does now?
Right.
And at the same time, people are like, Youngblood, well, who cares? It's a bad state of affairs.
It is, dude. It is. And then on the other side of it, if you look at, I'm going to say it again. If you look at Taylor Swift, right? She knew that me and my wife talked about this the other day. She knew that this Sabrina Carpenter was the next big thing. She knew, Taylor knew, because she's so smart. It doesn't matter how you feel about her music. I believe Taylor Swift is an amazing businesswoman. I think she has a great head for business. Or she has good people behind her, whatever the case may be. She always does great business. She saw that Sabrina Carpenter was up and coming, so what did she do? She wrote a song with Sabrina Carpenter, put it on her new record. Now that is a collaboration, to me, that people would be excited about. Youngblood and Aerosmith, who really cares? Again, the people who listen to Youngblood, like you said, if they're not connected to Aerosmith, they don't care. If you're connected to Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter, or one of the two, and you hear a song with the two of them, that's why that genre of music and your hip hop, that's why everybody's collaborating now, because everybody's giving the nod to somebody else, but people care about that stuff. Youngblood and Aerosmith, I don't really know. It's a great song. They did such a great job together. I mean, it sounds so good. But who cares? Who really cares?
I don't know if it's over probably by the time this show airs, but Youngblood was starting a few weeks back, or even months now, but he was starting a U.S. run of shows.
Well, yeah.
I haven't heard a thing about it. But here's the thing with Taylor Swift, when she finished up her tour, I mean, that was mega successful. It was one of the highest grossing almost ever. She has relevance in an audience. I mean, she has a mega audience share. So it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, people know who Aerosmith is, but, I mean, their popularity has waned over the years. And, you know, it's been like start-up, stop. They haven't released anything in quite a while. Maybe it was more, I'm not sure it was fanfare. I think it was each jumping on coattails to see if they could fire up the engines. You know, and I get that. I mean, because I would do the same thing. Absolutely. How do you build credibility, especially as a new artist? I mean, you get the nod from Ozzy. You're on Ozzy's farewell festival. Steven Tyler, you're singing duet with him, or that makes sense. That gives you validity. That's awesome on a resume. But at the same time, has his career changed that much? Because at the end of the day, it's the audience that makes or breaks you. You could have some fantastic stuff. If this happened in the 80s, early 90s, it would be a different world, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
When Run DMC and Aerosmith got together, that was a mega hit for them, radio. You'll still hear it today.
Yep.
But it literally brought Aerosmith back from the ashes.
Yes.
Like they brought out the trucks, the backhoes, guys with shovels, literally dug them up from the grave. And from that point forward, Permanent Vacation, so on and so forth, throughout the 90s, one mega hit after another.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned it to me once before. There's tons of collaborations going on.
Tons.
There was even one in that list. I had no idea who any of those people were.
Yeah.
So you're having all these collaborations throughout the 90s when hip-hop started to explode nationwide, became a mainstream juggernaut. It wasn't uncommon, even into the early 2000s, that a pop artist or even some rock artist would have a guest rapper on, and it would that song would explode, and both careers would, because you would gain new audience members.
Yeah.
A new awareness. Now, does it make a difference? It's become such a norm. Does it make a difference no more?
Doesn't make a difference. And, you know, and the format now of music, I don't know if this matters, but to me it does. When, you know, a lot of these popular songs that are coming out now, they're only like 2 minutes long. 2 minutes is, you really can't get into a groove of a song in 2 minutes. Songs are so short now. You could have 6 people collaborating on one song. Well, in 2 minutes, it's over, and you're like, what just happened? What did I listen to?
Yeah. I'm not going to argue that point because I fall into being guilty. We have a new holiday song coming out. Man, it just breaks 2 minutes. It just because I figure, man, you know, I want one and done, in and out. You hit the point, and I understand the writing process. And again, I don't write mainstream. Unfortunately, I've never had that talent, so hence I'm still at the bottom of the rug. But I understand why they do it, because once you get the hook, you want to keep it. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to dilute it. Hit it in and out. Totally understand that. Totally understand. Like the last couple of years for my holiday songs, there's no such thing as a second verse. No way. I've changed the format. Our singer, Frankie, heard it. He goes, oh, I love it. He goes, but I think you really need to get a second verse in there. I go, no second verse happening, bud. Give up that fight right now. I mean, he tried to fight. I go, it's not happening, man. It's a holiday song. We're never going to play it.
And that's the thing. Like, holiday songs is completely different. Like, that's something that doesn't fall into that category because it's a holiday song. So you're going to be, I mean, some of the greatest holiday songs are just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. But I just feel that, you know, these people put all this time and effort into it, and you're not getting your money's worth, I guess, for what you're trying to accomplish with doing all these collaborations.
We're in a society where we need instant gratification. Billy Joel complained about the song back in the early 70s being cut down to 3:05. Now we're talking under 2 minutes. Does the fault come back to us, the listener? Is our attention span that bad? Have we become, our brains become mush? Fish food? Seriously, can we not handle more than anything? One thing always affects another, right? There's a cause and effect. So it's possible that what we're seeing, this decline of, Western civilization part 4 that's happening could simply be a reaction or a ripple effect from what we're doing as fans, as listeners. Because, we talked about it first season, man. At one time, if it took more than 8 seconds for a web page to load, people clicked off it. And I think that number has dropped down because, speeds have gotten quicker and, how they format stuff. But, you're like, like 3 seconds go by and people go, oh, my God, what's taking so long here? Just to look at some picture of some person with their tongue out. I don't know. That was a subtle Kiss reference. But... You know what I'm saying? Like, are we at fault? Are we the reason? But we're the ones that complain about it. It seemed by the end of the summer, prior to us starting our season, that rock was in a revival. Now, that could be because we were coming off of Ozzy doing his thing, Youngblood being out, like he seemed to, like you said, all of a sudden, like people were picking up on him, and you were starting to see some other things happening. But now, it seems like there's nothing. There's the, at the time of this, there's the Bruce Springsteen movie in the theaters. And does anybody really care?
I don't think so, Mick. I don't know how well it's done. They're just trying to ride that success of Elton John's and Freddie Mercury's.
And there's a good point, too. Think about this. Queen is still touring. And they sound, listen, I seen them with Adam Lambert. Mm-hmm. They sound amazing. He's an incredible singer. He's a little over the top. And I think he does that to stand above what Freddie Mercury was doing. I get that, but that's just the way it is. But why haven't they done anything brand new? His voice is amazing. Think about what they could do.
Yeah.
He's an incredible singer. Unbelievable. He should have been even... Listen, I would have rode that train too. You jump on the Queen. You have an established catalog. You have an established audience. They're still doing their thing. But why haven't they come out with any new music?
Yeah.
They could easily do it. Easily do it.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. They are the quintessential rock band. Think about that. Right? They weren't heavy metal. Yeah. They weren't even hard rock. They were a solid rock band. Yeah, they had some heavy stuff. And they had some light stuff. So they covered the spectrum. But it was all amazing. Why wouldn't they do at least one song? If we had to be tortured with that very last AI finished Beatles song, these guys are actually still playing. Let's give us something that Brian May's still a fantastic guitar player. They got one heck of a singer on board. Right. Come on. They could easily do it. If they're touring that much, they could do it.
And when it's funny that you brought that up, because then on the other end of that, you have Alice Cooper, who puts together the original Alice Cooper band, puts out a record and goes, I don't care if you people want to hear it or not, I'm putting it out, and my fans will buy it. And it did very, very well in his circle of fans. He's like, I don't care, I'm putting it out. I may not play any of those songs live, but I'm putting it out because this is what I want to do. Obviously his fans are going to care. Yeah, he's constantly putting new music out. He don't play it, but he constantly puts it out.
Exactly.
And, I guess some artists are like, I'm putting it out for my fans because my fans will buy it. Or collectors will buy it, like one or the other. And then you got guys like Queen that go, nope, we're just going to live off this Freddie Mercury stuff. It's crazy, dude.
Well, look at Kiss. Kiss last release was 2012.
Oh, yeah.
And they
2012? Seriously?
The Monster thing or whatever, right?
Oh, my God. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
And they finished touring, right, in 2023. Mm-hmm. So they went 11 years with no new music. And they were asked about it several times, and they're like, what's the point? What's the point of doing? What's the point of writing new music and people not listening to it or not caring about it, or it's yet something else we have to try to work into the set? Even at the end, the last show that you and I seen, they weren't playing Hell or Hallelujah, and they weren't playing Delilah, though I did hear it, because I had seen them from 2012 to the time they did. I seen them a number of times at different places before they decided it was the end of the road. But honestly, the newest thing that they were playing, Psycho Circus, and that was 98. The next hit came off of Sonic Boom, which was
Modern Day
Delilah, which was a good song. It
was a great song.
It was a great song. And of course, Hell or Hallelujah or whatever, but you weren't hearing, come on. I mean, that's a prime example right there. I mean, of a band that was a juggernaut in terms of touring, playing out, the audience members, but they stuck to the script. Gene Simmons spent years with the Rock is Dead thing. I know he didn't start it, but he really championed it for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. He did, yeah.
But
yeah.
They were just to blame as everybody else. If you felt rock was dead, why didn't you try to make a change?
Right.
Because you had an audience's ear. You were still playing out the greatest show on earth. So then why didn't you put the time in to bring rock back?
Yeah.
You stood on your laurels, you played your back catalog, and you continued to collect money. And again, I love Kiss, but most Kiss fans, it's a love-hate relationship. You know how that goes.
Yeah, that's
how it goes. Yeah, I mean, being an artist, it's a love-hate relationship with what you do. You love it so much that you hate it. But don't call the kettle black if you're part of the problem. And you're not, or you're not making any solutions. Don't point out the problem if you're not going to at least offer something.
You are listening to the Cosmick Voice with your hosts, Chris Natalini and Mick Michaels.
The trickle-down effect, there, Mr. Bush, where does this leave original bands that are in the trenches playing the local scene? If new rock isn't working on the mainstream national levels, global levels, what's happening to the rest of us? Again, we're going to go back to what we talked about in the last episode about these tribute bands. They have the model because you look at those lists that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Where a list of 10, 7 of those people, maybe 8 of those artists are people that have already been established for 20 plus years.
Yep.
How do you compete with that? When the Beatles and Creedence Clearwater Revival, who haven't been together in,
decades.
Like we're not even sure color TV was around at that point. But the point is that they're still in the top 10. Kind of says something on Spotify, doesn't it?
It's true. Yeah, 100%.
That being said, how does an artist like you, me, how do they work out when they can't even get a share?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I will say this too, and I want to see what your thought is. You were talking about Kiss and, talking about Rock is Dead and why didn't they, try to revive it. Do you think, and I know we don't know this for a fact, but do you think the only reason they didn't try because they convinced themselves it wasn't worth it because they just knew they could never get another rock and roll all night?
Absolutely. Listen, you, me, if you're doing this long enough, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are. You play to your strengths, you try to avoid the weaknesses, and I hate using that word weaknesses, they're not so strong things. And over time, some of those weaknesses don't look as weak. And we all become one-trick ponies. All of us. Everybody. Mm-hmm. You do your shtick over and over and over again because that's what sets you apart. But there comes a time when you start realizing, like, either I'm repeating myself or maybe I'm not cut out the same way that I was because you don't have the fire. You don't have the drive. There's no, not that I've been at that point, but what I'm saying is if you've had so much success, there comes a point where it's like, how do I top that success?
Right.
Because if I don't, everything is less than.
Yes.
And then each time it's more than less than. My career looks like it's taking a downturn. But that's the natural progression of everything. You buy a brand new, newly constructed house. You move in, the paint ain't even completely cured. In 25 years, that brand new house ain't brand new no more, no matter how many coats of paint you put on it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's still a great house. It's still functioning. You've created a life there. There's a lot of love. You're eating, drinking, watching TV, whatever. In 50 years, it ain't the same brand new house anymore, is it?
Yeah.
Same thing with a career or with your music or whatever. Show me. And I'm sure there's some artists that are out there. Billy Joel hasn't released anything new in how long? And according to his documentary and some interviews that I heard prior to that, he's got tons of stuff. He writes all the time.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't. Why does he have to? But as an artist, where's your outlet? But how do you top Piano Man? Again, you watch this documentary, you're like, oh my God, what this guy achieved. When do you make the choice to go, all right, that's it, that's enough.
Yeah.
I've done it. Now let me just live life and have fun with it. And, and he seems that he's in that space, especially for the rocky career, up and down on the inside that he had. I mean, who am I to say? I'm just talking from the peanut gallery. Hey, you got cotton candy? Over here.
Billy Pretzel here. You have red, white, and blue, or was it red stripe? What is that soda you drink? Red, white, and blue.
Oh, Stars and Stripe.
Stars and Stripes.
I no longer do Stars and Stripe since the price went up. I've graduated to Walmart's Great Value, and it's much better.
Oh, all right. Well, if it's much better, then rock on. Okay.
Yeah. I've moved up in the world, man. You know what I mean? Having a successful podcast, an award-winning podcast, has given me the opportunity to go from the dollar store to Walmart brand.
Nice, man. That's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's
good stuff.
Is rock dead? No. We've talked about that. This is kind of like a continuation of several shows we've had over the last few years. We talked about, is rock dead? We talked about, was metal on a resurgence? We talked about, does anybody care? Things of that nature. But is rock in a revival? Well, according to these lists, it seems like there are still a number of up-and-coming rock artists that we don't know, but someone does. But they're not showing up in the top 25 of Spotify's most listened to.
Right.
But they must be doing something well enough, whether the numbers, the music, or whatever, to show up on some radar. How big is that net now? That net's not like it used to be. Like when you and I were younger, even throughout the 90s, even throughout the beginning of the 2000s. When Lady Gaga hit, she hit big and everybody knew who she was. And actually, on that list that I pulled up in the search and I talked about, actually, Lady Gaga came up on notable tours in 2025, as did Kid Rock, and you ready for this? Nickelback. All three of those had notable tours in 2025. I didn't even know Nickelback was touring.
I didn't either.
I knew Kid Rock was touring because I heard that he wasn't allowed to play in some places.
Yeah.
Balls to the bang, diddy, something on the city, hit me while I'm down type of thing. I mean, is he releasing new music? Did anybody care? I mean, I don't even understand. How is it? I can't get a gig and this guy's still touring. I mean, to me, his best song was the one he did with Sheryl Crow. Gotta have a little tongue-in-cheek, little comedy in it. I mean, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
Listen, kid, I'll open up for you. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely. I'll take that gig.
You know what I mean? I'll open up for Nickelback. I remember seeing Nickelback on the American Music Awards one Monday night, when they were first coming out. I was like, this is the kind of rock band that I would want to be in. They were heavy enough, but they were, inviting enough to a larger crowd. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And they went where everybody else went, trying to make a hit every time. And I never had a problem with them, and they did their thing. I'm not exactly sure why they achieved that notoriety that they did as a backlash. I didn't understand what that was about, but whatever. Maybe I missed that whole point.
I think that whole backlash at Nickelback was one of those things where it was cool to hate on Nickelback. Because listen, Nickelback is awesome. Like you said, some of their stuff is heavy, commercial friendly, radio friendly, but you still get that edge. And of course they were ballady too, but I'm a fan of Nickelback. I have unfortunately never seen them before because I kind of got into them later. I was never into that sound, that time, that kind of stuff that was coming out. But I go back now and I go, man, this stuff is really solid. And the one thing that turned me on to those guys was, they did that song for Dimebag. They used some of the lead that Dimebag played that was never used, that Vinny gave them the okay to do. And I was like, well, if Dimebag and Vinny are giving them the nod, well, then I'm in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I listened to the song, I'm like, these guys are awesome. And then I went
it
back
was
to the
never an
catalog.
insider thing. It was always an outside. I never got it. I mean, they popularized again that double rock guitar. I mean, good. They weren't shredders,
big
but
choruses.
there was that big choruses. Listen, they weren't doing anything different than Foo Fighter was doing, and I never was a huge Foo Fighter fan. I'm still not.
No,
I don't
get
it.
Me neither.
But
no, me neither.
It is what it is, man. What do you think, Bud? You got anything else you want to add?
No, man, I think we've pretty much said it all. I don't necessarily know if there is a rock revival. If there is, they're calling music rock that to us isn't rock.
Yeah, if there is a revival, can somebody give me directions?
Yes.
Because I'm lost.
Yep.
If you like that episode, check out some of our other episodes at www.thecosmickvoice.com. Step into the Cosmickverse and experience the award-winning podcast yourself. Thanks so much for listening. This is the Cosmick Voice. If you have a question, a topic idea, or something you want us to address, just contact us through our Facebook page at The Cosmick Voice. You can listen to The Cosmick Voice at Spotify, Breaker, Apple, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, and at thecosmicview.com. Check us out on Facebook at The Cosmick Voice.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, Mick and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And we hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes of The Cosmick Voice. And you can get in touch with us through thecosmickvoice.com and, of course, all of the Cosmick Voice social medias. Take care and be safe.
You're listening to The Cosmick Voice. Music, talk, and nothing but business.